Hello everyone, this is Maki. Today, we are going to take a look at a Asano mobile suit that for some reason is getting a bit of attention. It seems that the announcement of a new Gunpla has put it in the spotlight. Longtime fans are both surprised and a little confused by the unexpected attention this mobile suit is getting. But before we get into that, here's a little news update. Information about the online distribution of G-Class, the new Gundam story, has been released. It was announced that the series will be available for streaming on Amazon Prime immediately after the TV broadcast. This announcement is for Japan, but since Amazon is a huge international service, there's a good chance that online streaming will begin in other countries fairly soon. It might be a good idea to keep an eye on Amazon's news for updates. Now, let's check out this unexpected mobile suit. The release of the high-grade G-Line Light Armor Gunpla has been announced. The price is approximately $24. Please note that the price may fluctuate depending on the exchange rate. In Japan, it is scheduled to be released in April 2025. So, what exactly is the G-Line mobile suit? Surprisingly, it's a mobile suit with a prestigious background, having been conceived even earlier than Zeta Gundam. It belongs to the Earth's Federation Forces of the Universal Century. The G-Line was developed as part of the ROX-81 project by the Earth's Federation Forces. Its goal was the full-scale mass production of the Gundam. The GEM is a mobile suit based on the Gundam. However, in order to mass-produce mobile suits quickly during the war, many of its performance aspects had to be downgraded. That's how the GEM was completed. Of course, considering that it was built with just the right level of power to turn the tide of the war while still being produced in large enough numbers, it can absolutely be called a masterpiece mobile suit. After all, the Earth's Federation forces were victorious in the war against the Principality of Zeon. However, if mobile suits were to become the mainstay of battlefield weaponry, then developing even more powerful mobile suits would be the logical next step. Thus, the Earth's Federation forces decided to design a mass-produced mobile suit that could replicate the performance of the Gundam as closely as possible. This was the ROX-81 project, and the result of this project was the G-Line. The G-Line head unit uses the same sensors as the GEM. However, one of its biggest features is that it also houses Gundam-style twin eyes. At first glance, it appears to have a visor-type sensor, but the fact that the twin eye sensors are hidden underneath makes for a really interesting design. The core block system, which integrates a core fighter into the torso, has been removed. Instead, the G-Line is designed to adapt to different combat situations by switching between different weapons and equipment. The light armor, the model featured in the recently announced high-grade Gunpla, is one of these variations. As the name suggests, the light armor version reduces the weight of the armor, sacrificing defense in exchange for high-speed maneuverability. So how did the G-Line come about in the real world? It was introduced as part of the Mobile Suit Variation project in a magazine feature. Specifically, it came from a sub-series called MMS Buoy. The M stands for missing, representing something that was buried in history, lost, or absent from where it should have been. The concept was that these mobile suits were classified information in the Universal Century, only to be revealed years later. The G-Line was officially introduced in 1983 through the instruction manual for the full armor Gundam model kit. Meanwhile, Zeta Gundam was aired as a TV anime in 1985. This means that the G line is actually an older mobile suit than Zeta Gundam. Over the years, the G line has appeared in various games, and while it has remained relatively obscure, it has managed to build a dedicated fan base. In addition, its concept of swapping weapons and equipment to adapt to different combat situations has influenced many later mobile suits. The Earth Federation's Gem series and Jet Gun series, which use interchangeable equipment in combat, were directly inspired by the G line. Even later in the Gundam Formula 90 era, the idea of equipment swapping became a major design feature. This concept isn't limited to Universal Century either. Alternative timelines like the C series also feature mobile suits, like the Strike Gundam and Impulse Gundam, that rely on equipment swapping. So, whether in Universal Century history or the real world, the G line was a masterpiece mobile suit that introduced a crucial design philosophy. But why wasn't the G line mass-produced? One major reason was that the Earth Federation forces lacked the same level of expertise in mobile suit production and mass manufacturing as Theon. However, the biggest problem was cost. It was simply too expensive to mass produce. This is a common theme in the Gundam series. For example, the mass-produced new Gundam was also scrapped because it was considered too expensive to produce in large numbers. Many fans jokingly ask shouldn't they have realized the cost issue during the design phase. But there is a reasonable explanation for this. Mobile suits like the G line and the mass-produced new Gundam were designed based on wartime expectations. However, when the war ended earlier than expected and large-scale battles ceased, these costly units became unnecessary luxuries. Despite its low profile, the G line is now gaining attention thanks to its Gunpla release. If you are drawn to its design, why not try to get your hands on the G line like Tama Gunpla? Thank you for watching until the end. See you next time!